tabletop magic!
Hey guys, it's Cody with Leisure Time Games. Today we're going to be doing a Warhammer 40,000 battle report of Dark Angel's Deathwing Assault versus my Space Wolves. So I tried to build a little bit of a Space Wolf elite army to take on Alex's Deathwing. I haven't been able to beat him yet, but we're going to play a Maelstrom of War mission, play for some tactical objectives. We've got the field all set up. We're going to roll for our Warlord traits and for sides and the mission, what they're going to deploy. But before we do any of that, we'll give you a look at the armies.
Let's check it out.
Alright guys, so right here I have 1,400 points of Space Wolves. Essentially, I have a Wolf Lord in Terminator armor, but I've upgraded him to have the Armor of Rust. He's got the Wolfenstone. He's got the Helm of Durfast. He's got the Black Death, and he's got the Bite of Fenris. So I gave him almost every relic that I could possibly give him to try to make him the coolest Wolf Lord and Terminator armor ever. That is King Theothrek. And then he'll be accompanying this 5-man squad of Terminators. All 5 Terminators have Power Fist. And then I also added 2 assault cannons and a cyclone missile launcher. Now, to basically, obviously I don't actually have those. I have 1 assault cannon. We're going to have the captain guy with the cape at the other assault cannon so that he looks different. And we're going to make the guy with the chain fist, since he's different from everyone else, be the guy with the cyclone missile launcher. So that's how we'll know, in case they die, that I lose those weapons. And then they took a Land Raider Redeemers, their dedicated transport, with a multi-melta and extra armor. So those 6 guys will be riding up in that. Then I took a Longfang squad. This guy's going to be my Ancient. He just has a regular melta gun, not a multi-melta. Everything else is as you see it. I have 3 plasma guns and 2 las cannons. They're going to be sitting inside of this bastion. I just took it, no upgrades, a regular Imperial bastion. Then for troops, I have 2 5-man squads of Blood Claws, just really cheap. Had to fill up those troop slots. I do have 1 plasma gun in each unit, but no power fists, no extra combat weapons, nothing like that. They're just basically cheap troop choices. And then for a couple fast attack, I have 1 unit of 2 land speeders. Each land speeder has 2 multi-meltas. So tried to bring the heavy firepower, tried to bring the big hitters, and see if I can handle this Deathwing Assault. Let's take a look at Alex's army.
Ready? Alright, so I got a command squad with Belial, an interrogator chaplain with no special war gear except digital weapons. I have the banner with the standard of retribution. Basically, what is that guy called?
A Terminator?
No, but he's
Apothecary?
Apothecary, okay, with 5 up, feel no pain. I got the Deathwing champion. He's got a halberd of Caliban, and then a guy with lightning claws and a plasma cannon. Then
Lightning claws?
Yeah, lightning claw Terminator.
Oh yeah, okay. I was thinking wolf claws, but okay.
And then we got just 2 Deathwing Terminator squads. One's kitted out with Thunder Hammer and assault cannon, chain fist, and the other one's kitted out with lightning claws,
Salt
cannon, and then the sergeant has a Thunderhammer storm shield. And then I brought an elite choice with the Deathwing Knights, and they have no special war gear except for what they come with. And that's it.
Alright, so that's 1,400 points of Deathwing Assault, Dark Angels, and so we're going to roll for our mission now. Roll for the board edge. This is how we have the board set up. I have my Space Wolf objectives on the field. We just randomly set them out. So we're going to roll to see what mission we're playing, and we'll show you the deployment. Alright guys, so here's the deployment. We ended up rolling mission number 2, which is Contact Lost. So we're going to draw 6 tactical objective cards at the beginning of turn 1. And every turn that we have under 6, we can draw up to 6 for as many objectives as we're holding. So if I'm holding 2 objectives, I can draw 2 cards. Unless the 2 cards takes me over 6, then I can only draw 1, so on and so forth. I won the roll-off for picking what side I wanted. It's Dawn of War deployment, so I obviously picked the closest side to the camera. You can see my guys there. And then you don't see anything on the other side. That's because the Dark Angels, they got 1 squad on the field of Knights. Those are Knights, right?
Yep.
With the shields. So they're behind that building, so they don't get killed turn 1, which I don't think I could do anyway. And then everything else deep strikes in, because that's what Deathwing Assault does. I also won the roll-off for choosing who deploys first, so I chose myself. I deployed first, which also means I get to go first unless Alex can steal the initiative, and he attempted to and did not. So that means we're going to go into Space Wolf turn 1. Alright, so it's end of Space Wolf turn 1. Pretty short turn. I drew 6 cards. Basically, one of the cards was for my opponent to nominate an objective that I have to hold for 2 consecutive turns, and then I score a D3 victory points. He nominated objective marker number 2, that one right there, so I set the card next to it. These guys are holding it, so this is 1 turn that I'm holding it so far. And then I basically moved up the land speeders 12 inches, turned their butts to this building so they're not showing any rear armor, because I don't know where these Terminators are going to start deep striking from. But I wanted to get him up into the middle of the field, kind of spread out my units so that he's got to deep strike in different places. He can't just put everyone in front of me. I actually disembarked my Terminators right away with my leader there, and they're standing next to this objective, marker number 4. And then the Land Raider went flat out in the shooting phase, although it's full 12 inches, going towards another objective. These guys are holding this objective here, and the Longfangs are still inside the building. Basically, I just did some movement. I have no psychic, and when it came to shooting, he only has 1 squad on the field, and they're behind that building. I literally cannot see them with any of my guys. So I couldn't do any shooting. I basically just got in position to be holding objectives and basically prepare for their arrival. I did score 1 victory point for controlling twice as many objectives as my opponent, and I scored 1 victory point for having 3 of my scoring units within 12 inches of my board edge. So right now Space Wolves have 2 points, and Dark Angel's about to arrive from Deep Strike. So we're going to go into Dark Angel's turn 1. End of Dark Angel's turn 1. And pretty much, we had, of course, the deep striking awesomeness. So this unit over here with Belial did a flawless deep strike on the top objective marker number 2, which was the one that Alex had nominated for me to try to control for 2 turns to get multiple points. Then these guys did their deep strike. They were actually aiming pretty much a little more in the center there, in between these buildings, but they scattered about 10 inches over, still totally fine. These guys are scattering right there, direct hit. On the other side of the building, and then of course the knights over there moved down off the hill a little bit. I went into shooting phase, and with Deathwing Assault, the banner gives them salvo, everything within 12 inches, and then the deep strike gets everything twin linked. So laying down the heavy fire, he had a lot of shots going into the 2 land speeders, armor 10. Which I realized I put their butt up against the building to try to guard armor 10. It was armor 10 all the way around, so that really doesn't matter. That's like Rhino tactics that I was trying right there. But they still got their Jink, and I passed quite a few Jink tests and everything. So each one has taken a whole point, and each one is down to 1 whole point, but they're still both alive. And then all the shooting from over here had gone into the Bloodclaw squad, the 5-man Bloodclaw squad that I had right here near the objective, and that had given Alex first blood. And then that was pretty much it. He ran the knights up a little bit further, and he scored an objective point for holding marker number 2, which is actually the one he took from me. And then he also scored a point for having a unit within 12 inches of my board edge, which is also Belial's unit, being within 12 inches of my board edge there. And then, of course, first blood. So it actually puts the Dark Angels up to 3 points, and the Space Wolves at 2. So Dark Angels are up by a point, going into Space Wolves turn 2. So, end of Space Wolf, turn 2. I started by moving the land speeders away from the building back towards this objective marker number 4, just to try to get them away. I started off by drawing 2 objectives to put me at 5, or 2 tactical objective cards to put me at 5. I disembarked the Longfangs from the Bastion. It's not working out so well this turn. Everyone's pretty far away from me. I think it's just bad placement on my part. So I disembarked them out 6 inches, and they did run after that. So no shooting from them. I shuffled up these guys a little bit just to get the plasma gun in range of the knights the knight squad that was over there. And of course I moved forward the Terminator squad with my Wolf Lord forward. And I also did another flat out movement with the Land Raider over to that objective marker number 3 right there. That was it for movement. I have no psychic, and in shooting I laid down a few snapfire shots with the multi-meltas on the land speeders and got nothing. And then the plasma gun whiffed over here. Of course, like I said, the long fangs ran. And then I just laid down some heavy fire with the Cyclone missile launcher and the 2 assault cannons and the 3 storm bolters that I have in the 6-man squad over here. And ended up actually killing 2 of the knights. I attempted to charge. It was a 10-inch charge, but I only rolled 7. But they don't have any Overwatch because they only have close combat weapons, so no assaulting. And then I ended up scoring a D3 victory points if I control any 3 objective markers on the field. Land speeders are holding 4, land raiders holding 3, and my blood claws over here are holding number 5. So I ended up rolling for that, getting a 6, which gave me 3 more points on top of my 2 from turn 1. That puts me at a total of 5 points for the Space Wolves at the end of their turn 2. And now we're going to go into Dark Angels turn 2. End of Dark Angels turn 2. We had some shuffling movement from the 2 Terminator squads over here around objective marker number 2. Then we had a shuffle back of this Terminator squad towards objective marker number 1, and a shuffle forward of the Knights towards objective marker number 6. So it's very clear Dark Angels are playing for objectives. They lay down firing because of their banner. They're getting salvo on all their shots. They ended up doing taking some leadership tests, doing some split firing, and I decided not to jinx because I want a full ballistic skill in those multi-meltas I paid for. But he ended up getting too many good penetrating hits and taking down the land speeders rather. So both land speeders gone. That sucks for me. Then he laid down some firepower left with the bolters that were salvos of 4 shots each for a storm bolter. Going on into my Terminator squad that was 6 men, and now I'm just down to 2 guys and my Lord. So not looking too good for them, but we have a little bit of a face-off going on with the Knights and the Terminators there. I still have Long Fangs and Blood Claws and a Land Raider. He still got all his Terminator squads with just the Knights dwindling slightly. And right now, Dark Angels are up 6-5 because he scored a D3 victory points for holding 3 objectives, and he rolled a 3, which gave him 2 points. And he also scored 1 for holding objective marker number 1 with these Terminators there. So that puts the Dark Angels at 6 points, Space Wolves at 5 points. We're gonna go into Space Wolf turn 3. Okay, so it's end of Space Wolves turn 3. At the beginning of the turn, I drew 2 cards because I was on 2 objectives, putting me at 5. And then I had moved the Land Raider the full 12 inches up over this way. I had my squad of 2 Terminators and my Lord right in front of where that Land Raider was, and the Blood Claws and the Long Fangs did not move. I laid down heavy gunfire with the plasma cannons into the Terminator squad, and ended up taking down 2 of them with the Long Fangs. Ended up whiffing with the plasma gun on the Blood Claws again, but essentially it just came down to some Cyclone missile launcher fire and some assault cannon fire into the Knights that were there, and then I challenged with my Wolf Lord and Terminator armor. He ended up getting attacks before my guys because I have Power Fist on all of them and the unwieldy Black Death, and that killed the other 2 Terminators that I had, but that ended up giving me the whirlwind effect, where because I was outnumbered, I ended up having 9 attacks with the Helm of Durfast, so rerolling failed to hit, and digital weapons. So I ended up wiping the squad of 3 Knights, which actually gave me 1 objective for issuing a challenge, and another objective because an enemy unit was completely destroyed during the assault phase, so which actually puts me at 7 points. So I'm up 1 on the Dark Angels now. So it's 7-6 for the Space Wolves going into Dark Angels turn 3. Okay, so end of Dark Angels turn 3. Due to the objective cards that Alex has been drawing, it's been really changing up his battle plan. Essentially, he shuffled back Belial's squad to keep controlling objective marker number 2. And he shuffled back this other Terminator squad to keep controlling objective marker number 1, but trying to get within line of sight of my Lord there. These guys are still within 12 inches of the banner, and he had a couple guys within sight. So salvo shots and a couple of assault cannon shots over here. I did end up taking 2 wounds. I'm down to 1 wound on my HQ, my Wolf Lord, and Alex scored 2 points, so to push him up to 8. So this game has been back and forth every turn. Every other turn, one of us is up by 1 point. So right now, Dark Angels are up 8-7, and we're gonna go into Space Wolf turn 4. Okay, so end of Space Wolf turn 4. Basically, I moved the Land Raider up about 10 inches up next to objective marker number 6 there, and that put him in base contact with my Warlord, so he just disembarked for his movement, or embarked, I should say, onto the Land Raider, so he's now inside there. I actually moved forward and aligned this unit of Blood Claws to get the plasma gun out front. These guys, the Long Fangs, did not move, and then I just went into shooting phase. I drew tactical objectives. One of my cards is to try to destroy a unit in the shooting phase. I thought I could do it. I did end up killing the guy with the storm shield with the single shot from the plasma gun out front, so good job, Blood Claw. That did great. Then over here I had 3 plasma cannon shots, none of them got hot. I ended up getting 6 hits with the templates, getting 3 wounds, or 4 wounds, and Alex ended up rolling all 4 5-up invulnerable saves for the Terminator, so very good rolling on his part. Then the 2 las cannons whiff for that unit, and because the Land Raider moved the 8 inches, basically the 6, and then an additional like 4 or 5 in the shooting phase, so it could not shoot. So that's the end of Space Wolf turn 4. I did not score any additional points, so Dark Angels are still up 8-7, and we're going into Dark Angel turn 4. So end of Dark Angel turn 4. New objective cards mean new places that the Dark Angels need to be. Now Alex needs to be scoring objective marker number 3, objective marker number 4 down over here, and objective marker number 5 back here where I am. So he's been moving up all his units. Obviously no psychic, so it went straight into the shooting phase. And because my guy's inside the Land Raider, the only thing that could happen is the assault cannon with rending shot. It did end up getting a 6, it penned, but there's no AP, it was a 1. I have extra armor, so I ignore that, and it takes me down to 3 hull points. So 3 hull points on the Land Raider from the assault cannon, and then we also had some salvo Stormbolter shots fire into the Blood Claws. It dropped my plasma cannon, or plasma gun rather, and then the other shots, because he split fired, shot into my my Long Fangs, and I made my 3-up saves there. So all in all, did you score any objectives, Alex? None this turn?
Nothing.
Okay, none this turn. So at the end of both players' turn 4, neither one of us scored. So at the end of turn 4, it's still Dark Angels 8 to Space Wolves 7. And we're going to go into Space Wolves turn 5. Alright, end of Space Wolf turn 5. I moved the Land Raider up about 4 or 5 inches till it was right up on the face of those Terminators there. And I actually, because I drew a card that requires objective marker number 3 on the other side of the field, I started turning this Blood Claw squad that basically has nothing of use anyway to try to run them over there to score me a point. I did run them in the shooting phase, only got 2 inches, so that's as far as they could go. Did not move the Long Fangs. Went to the shooting phase. I laid down twin-length flamestorm cannons, a twin-length assault cannon, and a multi-melta into the Terminators. Ended up killing 2 of them, and 3 are still standing. And then I laid down 3 plasma cannon shots and 2 las cannon shots into these Terminators behind the ruins there, and ended up taking down just the 1. There was only 4, so I killed the 1 assault cannon guy, and I did actually lose 1 plasma cannon till it gets hot. So at the end of my turn, I do score 1 victory point for having a model within 12 inches of my opponent's board side. So that puts the Space Wolves at 8 and the Dark Angels at 8. So we're going into Dark Angels turn 5, possibly the last turn of the game. It's tied 8-8. End of Dark Angels turn 5. We had the 2 elite Terminator squads moving up into the ruins here. And then we had the other Terminator squad just pretty much stay right in front of Land Raider. That's where they wanted to be. and there was some shooting that went on, but it pretty much whiffed into the Long Fangs. I had to make one save, and I made it. Other than that, the most important thing was over here. We had the Terminators charge the Land Raider. We had a Chain Fist and a Thunder Hammer, and they caused the glance and 2 pens needed to take away the last 3 hull points. And that ended up causing emergency disembark for my Warlord, and they consolidated to ride around him, also contesting that objective. So that Land Raider is wrecked. And the Dark Angel scored a victory point for controlling objective marker number 4, because that's number 4, and they're within 3 inches right there. And that puts them at 9-8. So Dark Angels are in the lead by 1 point right now. And let's figure out if the game continues on a 3+.
Oh!
Game ends on turn 5. Now technically, at the end of game turn 5, he would also get Line Breaker for having a unit within 12 inches. And I would get Line Breaker for having a unit within 12 inches. So those pretty much cancel each other out. Either way, Dark Angels win by 1 point. It was actually a very close game. My model count was low towards the end, but based on the ejector cards we both had, we both still have potential to score a lot of points. Either way, it's a Dark Angel victory. Alex, how do you feel?
Cool. Dark Angels are awesome.
Always. That's undefeated. I have not been able to beat the Deathwing Assault with Alex yet. So that's a victory for Dark Angels. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next battle.